Hi, welcome to Comics Talks. I'm your host Andy, joined by my co-host Will. Today we are going to be talking about That Issue, which is where we just talk about an issue of our choice. So Will, what was that issue of our choice?
Today we've chosen God Loves, Man Kills, written by Chris Claremont, with art by Brent Anderson. It's a really big book, X-Men classic. So yeah, let's get into it. So the story opens, and where it's Westport Elementary School, Connecticut, and two kids and sort of running through the playgrounds at night, obviously sort of being hunted or chased down. And this is where, for the first time, we meet the Purifiers. And essentially what we find out is that these two kids are mutants, and the Purifiers have essentially decided they want to eradicate mutants. They want to just get rid of them, get them gone. So out the gates, this book is just brutal. Absolutely, just gut punch.
It's got a reaction now, and
so these Purifiers, they just kill the kids in cold blood and sort of string them up. Like, it's so gruesome.
Man, they lynch these poor kids. Yeah, it is. There's no other way around it. It's horrible.
And so then, sort of sometime later, they're found by Magneto, and he takes them down, sort of mourns them, and he kind of decides enough. Like, this has to stop. Like, I've been fighting for this too long. I'm not seeing this anymore. You know, classic Magneto kind of flavour.
Isn't it? Yeah, I guess.
And this is kind of like the whole crux of the book, pretty much. It's the whole message. This idea of they're not animals to be hunted. They're not some second class because they're mutants or different. They're humans, like everyone, like all of us. And kind of the main antagonist of this book, William Stryker, the way he decides
Name drop.
to do it through fear and religion is just cruel. Like,
no, I agree. It's cool because I know after reading it and then looking into it and finding out that the book was kind of inspired by the televangelists of the time and stuff like that. You see it. Yeah, it's cool that was an inspiration for that guy.
And so after Magneto, we cut to New York and we see Stryker in his high rise, and that's another sort of element to it. Is like, okay, so he's not just a minister. The guy is loaded. He has influence and power. And such a huge audience that more and more people are willing to listen and take on the message. And so we find him in his study, and he just devout. Like, the guy only sees God. Like, everything is through the lens of the Bible, no matter what. And so we find out that...
Doesn't he quote the Bible in the verse? I'm not religious enough to know if that's an actual quote.
He is literally sat in his office just reading aloud from the Bible.
Yeah. That's amazing. Fair play to you if you do that.
But, so then we find out that he's keeping tabs on all the X-Men. Like, they've been obviously monitoring them for some time, and this is something that I find really clever, though, because a lot of older comics, every issue you just get information regurgitated. You know, every time, like every issue of Hulk, you have to test who he is, how he got his powers. You know, X-Men's no different. But with X-Men, it's even harder. With any team, it's harder. Instead of one character, you have to do it for 6. But Claremont clever with this, and so we get a rundown on every character.
Introduction to this is a first graphic novel, isn't it? Yeah, of course.
So it's through these files, and it's just a quick, dirty way of just get it out the way, done.
They are, I'd admit, drawn perfectly to the Storm would throw their arms out with lightning in the background. Yeah, that's Storm. You get that. Oh, she does the weather. You get that.
Yeah, just bliss. And so he's obviously plotting something. And so then we cut again, and now we're at Stevie Hunter's dance and Pride, Ilya and Ilyana Rasputin having dance lessons here, and we basically pull in on Kitty beating up, and you essentially find out. So this is, again, I don't know if it had been used like this before, but Claremont starts to use the slur.
Oh wow, that's
to draw like even more parallels.
Yeah,
like,
okay, yeah, fair enough.
For the metaphor kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we essentially find out that this boy had like said something to her about it, and it completely set her off. And you find out that him and his both believe in what Stryker's doing, and they're all sort of like
Whose
part
parents?
of that. The boy.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
yeah,
offensive to Kitty. And so then there's like a really big like. So then Stevie comes out and what's going on and splits the two of them up. And Kitty basically turns around. Stevie says to Kitty, "Oh, it can't be that bad. Like, it's not that bad. Like, and Kitty kind of blows up in her face, says, "What if he'd said something to you?" And Stevie is a woman of colour, so it hits her really hard. And again, I think this is one of those things. This book has a very strong message from out the gate, and I think having something like that come from a 14-year-old girl's mouth kind of really drives it home for you if the opening didn't. And again, I think this was a book, it was, for the X-Men, was almost needed at the time, because looking at issues that take place around this, they're very grand space operas. They're so far from what it originated as.
They're far from real, yeah.
And so I think it was just a way of Claremont just reaffirming this is the mess. This is what it's really all about. And I think that's just another thing that's excellent. It's like it's so clear and concise, like, and it's just 60 pages. You know, now if this was done, it would be like a 12-issue epic.
Yeah,
it would get so muddied and lost, like. But because of the short runtime on it, he has to be punched. It has to be sort of in your face and
kind of straight on the parallels. Yeah, fair enough. I can't believe that was a very mature way of explaining and justifying the thing that people for some reason have such a horrible, like, hard take on. But no, you're right, justified.
So then,
where do they go from here? Oh yeah, where do they go from here?
That's a good question. So you find out that they're all being watched, and so they go back to Westchester, to the mansion, and you find out that Charles has a TV debate with Stryker, and so the X-Men gather around to watch it.
That's such a comic book idea, by the way. I'm just going to talk to this. Well, no, I guess it's mutant hater talking to mutant.
Yeah, it's just...
Okay, it makes more sense. I was just thinking, what, guy who owns school and reverend, but yeah, too right.
Charles is a prolific figure, sort of.
Prolific,
within it. Well, he's always been pro-mutant and very outspoken about it. He's a well-learned man. He gives talks and stuff. Like,
a few books.
It's not completely out of left field. And so the X-Men are watching it, and Charles just gets slaughtered. Like, Stryker just shuts him down on everything. It's a no-win, and so kind of Kitty gets like pissed off, and they decide to have just like a little like danger room.
It's so much bigger.
So we're looking at the book digitally, and I'm looking at my phone, some tiny ass screen, and Andy's just handed me the iPad.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can see it now.
Now see wobbling.
So yeah, we get a cool, fun little action scene. Get to see them all do cool stuff.
Which, by the way, is drawn awesome.
Oh, the art in this is phenomenal.
It's just got that touch more definition. And is it oily? Is it watercolor?
I feel like it's watercolor of some kind. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the art super services the story because it really grounds it. This is one of those things. It could very quickly become a little absurd and like have Stryker just look like a maniac, which he is. But
like an Einstein looking
motherfucker. They don't. It really helps sort of just ground it.
You saying that makes me understand. Like, Sprite's like uniform kind of actually looks realistic compared to so the one you kind of follow more. I know this is also a Cyclops story, but like kind of looks how you would in real life if you were just like, I'm gonna be a superhero.
Yeah. Then we find out that when Charles has left the TV studio, he's with Cyclops and Storm, and essentially they're being followed, and there's like an ambush set, and they blow the car, and they try to escape, but they all just get taken out. And so the X-Men then get a call, basically just like they're dead.
The way Kurt takes that phone call is awesome, man. Like he's so happy when he answered the phone.
Again,
and then it's just like juxtaposed.
Just...
especially because he's all. I know he's always shadowy, but the way the shadow is all like menacing when he answers it, but he's all happy, and then when
the whole mystique is just ripped away, like.
It's phenomenal. Nice, Mum.
Dad.
Oh! My bad.
Then they're all sad for a bit, obviously.
Yeah, course, yeah.
And Kitty takes it really hard, and so Illyana sort of like, and she's out sat by the water, and so Illyana sort of comes to comfort her, sort of be with her. And they go for a walk, and they find this device like hidden, like around the edge of the manor. And you find out, like, oh, that's how the mansion. That's how they, like, there's a difference. And so they decide to, like, break it and essentially just camp out and see who comes. So then in Central Park, we find Colossus and Wolverine. They're looking at the wreckage, and Wolverine's not sold.
The wreckage of what?
The car crash.
Oh, of course, bro. I'm there like, what? I've read this.
And so, and yeah, Wolverine's not sold because everything he sends, and he's like, this is what I'd do for a cover. Which is one of them. It's like, yeah, I trust Wolverine's probably done a few of them in his time.
He's coming up with your money.
So, and you find like Nightcrawler's like across the street as well, sort of chilling like on a lamppost, which I just love because it is like the middle of the day. It's like, what? No one just like looks up. Or looks out their window.
To be fair, when was the last time you looked at a light bulb in a lamppost? In the middle of the day. No.
Fair enough.
To be fair, although I won't. if you're walking from a distance, you're seeing it.
You're seeing him. Big blue man. Yeah. He's like in his full uniform, so it's just a massive chunk of red.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
I see him that.
What the fuck was that? No bird hitting the lamppost. It's New York, baby. We don't have time to stop.
This is also what I'm thinking, because it is the middle of New York. Does anyone even give a fuck? Especially it's Marvel.
Yeah,
it's Marvel
true,
New York.
That's true.
You see this stuff all the time.
Yeah, like it's that Spider-Man because it's blue and red.
Like
red and blue.
Said different.
I know, but it's just sounding better.
So then we find they're being watched. So they stop the car. It's kind of fun actually. Wolverine sort of stops and takes a guy out. One of the main purifying powers, her name's Anne. She's kind of like running the show for everyone. She tries to get away. No, is it? I don't think it's Anne. No, it's not Anne. Anne comes back later.
Oh wow.
Sorry. And so Nightcrawler, like, they'd start driving, foot's like stuck on the clutch or something. It just won't stop. So Nightcrawler has to like bump her and him out the car. Colossus smashes the car, which like there's some great paneling of him hitting it and some like great motion in the pages.
I'll admit, I love how bright it is, and then the impact happens, and you see shit like it's all dark because it's just dictating how much damage is going on.
Yeah, so good. So then you find out there's some of the Purifiers have like this special armor, and they start like start fighting back. Then all of a sudden, metal starts flying everywhere. Magneto swoops in, saves them, and they decide to essentially, he wraps up 2 Purifiers, and they take them back to the mansion Terra. And while that's happening, Kitty and Illyana's sort of camping out pays off, and some guys like come to fix the
thing they messed up.
They broke, and one of these Purifiers is Anne. And essentially what happens is Kitty decides she's gonna like phase through the ground and try and like come out and like get them,
which is good.
And
I read this and I was like, oh, of course, I've seen you run on air.
And so then they spot Illyana and they capture her, and so Kitty decides to, as they're driving off, she like slips, she like goes through the ground again and then goes up into the boot of the car, which again I thought was That's fun.
And
like
smart that she went underground to not be seen. Shame they knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And then they just flick some gas in there.
Yeah.
Like, which, firstly, like, I know you're
contingency?
planning on like kidnapping people and stuff, but you're telling me you've fully gone to the trouble of piping your car to like gas your boot.
And like installing it in your front.
And having like a switchboard with next to your car phone.
Some evil fuckers out there, man, I'm telling you. Especially in this comic book world.
Crazy.
Yeah. Just comics. Literally.
And so we have the rest of them sort of interrogating the purifiers they caught. And I love it because they're all just like, yeah, we're prepared to die, we won't tell you anything. And obviously Wolverine being Wolverine's like, nah, you're gonna give me something. So he tries like loads of scare tactics on the guy. It's one of the great, like, puts his fist under his chin, and then he does the left claw, the right claw, and then he's like, want to go for 3? Which, great line.
I get it's great as well because I love, you can just interpret it at any speed. Because it's Snink, and you see the eyes looking at the blade, and then the next one he's looking at the other blade, and then he's trying to. It always looks cross-eyed. It's great.
Very well done.
Yeah,
extremely well done.
And it dictates the fear.
So then it doesn't work, and so Magneto's like, "Well, I'll make you talk," and it's a really cool part. I couldn't tell you what the hell is happening, what he's actually doing to the guy, but the guy obviously don't like it. And he tells him everything that's going to happen. And so we then go to one of my favourite segments in the whole book. I absolutely
love this chapter 3?
Scene. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Chapter. And we're essentially, it's all like everything, it's red skies, everything like blood-soaked. And Charles is like, well, the X-Men are dragging Charles to a cross. And they essentially crucify him. And they all have like demon faces and stuff. And they essentially each come up to him like piece by piece and kind of like take a part of him. Like Nightcrawler just takes a chunk out of him, like bites a chunk out of him. Kate takes his heart. Wolverine slashes him up. Storm like strikes him with lightning. And then sort of Cyclops comes, and they're all being sort of really mean to. Well, the others don't speak, but Cyclops essentially just sort of like relays to him like all of Charles's fears about.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm like this guy's father figure. Have I been a bad dad? Like. All this kind of stuff.
Insecurity.
Literally.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be in that head.
Too real, man.
I wouldn't want that to happen to me. Yeah.
And so we essentially find out it's a dream. Charles is in like a sort of dream state, like I don't think so. I think it's more like.
Yeah, I thought this is powers.
Yeah. So you find out Stryker has him kidnapped, and he wants to build a machine and use Charles's powers to kill mutants, make like an anti-Cerebro.
Let's make a movie out of that. Oh wait.
And yeah, so like that's the sort of like the elephant in the room. Like, is this really was like a basis for X2? But they get rid of all the evangelical stuff, like and
stuff that will offend.
Make Stryker just like standard regular army guy.
You know that Ross guy.
But then they tie it into Wolverine's origin.
Yeah, they did that well. Yeah,
that kind of thing. Yeah. But the whole basis of taking Charles and let's plug him in a machine to kill everyone comes from this. Yeah. And yeah, I mean Charles is like the most powerful psychic on the planet. He chooses not to be in everyone's head. I mean, question. Yeah, probably is. But I feel like if he was, there wouldn't be like a mutant problem, like an anti-mutant problem.
Yeah. That's so true.
But he could do it if he wanted to.
But that's not the way, yeah.
No, he knows there's a better way. Yeah. Like, he has to do it properly.
God, imagine that hubris. Anyway, yeah. It's just a savior, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, but then that's the thing. Like, it's in those moments, it's when you look at Charles like that, is when you're like, oh, him and Magneto aren't really that different. Yeah. Like, because Charles has done some pretty heinous stuff to try and get results. Like, and it never worked. It never worked. So then, we see, like, as Charles's dream crescendos, like, Stryker comes, like, a sort of white light comes down, and Stryker's there, and he's like, take my hand, and Charles is like, no, like, I have to go back into the abyss, and yeah, it's really cool, and that's when we then hard cut, and to reality. He's like in a tube, and he's all plugged in and everything, and you find out that they're going to give it like a big talk, and the way that's going to be sort of where they said it at first. And you find out Cyclops and Storm are still alive, and they're being tortured and stuff to like help out and use them to like they're gonna be the test. Charles kills them, then we know it works because they're his children. So this is where we find out as well why Stryker's like, and it's one of those things like again, it's like just more hard hitting stuff in this book. It's such a upsetting tale. So you find he was in the army, fought in World. No,
it had to be 2.
I think it might have. Yeah, well, yeah, because it's what, this 82.
82. Yeah.
That's 40 years now.
Yeah, what he fought or his dad?
Oh yeah, no, I mean he probably did. He's probably like 60 something.
Yeah, that's
realistic.
But yeah, that he looks 60 for the 80s standards. Yeah, which is like the nowadays 80s. So yeah.
So then you find out. So he went off to war. He's kind of like, it was like a hard man sort of thing. But you know, he did have like problems in the military. Like he was a bit sort of like obsessive with certain things, stuff like that. And so one day he's like driving like with his pregnant wife because like her water's broken, like she's gonna have the baby kind of thing. And they get into a car accident, and he manages to pull himself and her out, and she gives birth there on the side of the road. And
road rash.
Oh no! I
don't know if I should apologise.
No, staying in. And so he delivers his own son, and his son's a mutant.
Is that the water from her womb?
I don't know. That's the oil.
Good.
There's like an oil spill.
God.
It's like, yeah, no.
Like, whoa.
And so he's like, oh, fuck that. So he kills the kid. Which is just like,
what does it look like? A slug or something?
We never see it. We never see it. But yeah, it was one of the few mutants.
It was a girl.
And looked
so it was a mutant.
Like,
yeah.
Just got rid of it.
It's the 40s, remember? Nah, that's savage.
It's just evil, absolutely evil.
I wouldn't put it past a guy like Stryker to this unit.
Wow, yeah, and this is where he snaps.
But yeah,
like, because he starts looking at it like he's being like punished by God. And like being like told like God, essentially God hates. Like,
yeah,
they shouldn't be.
What an interpretation!
Like, it's just absolutely wild.
You'd kill this mutant because it's horrible. I wouldn't do that.
And so he then kills his wife as well. And the car was leaking fuel, so he puts them in the car, and he puts them all in the car. He decides he's going to kill himself as well, and blows the car, but he's blown clear.
No way! I didn't know that. I thought you thought it was like...
No.
Wow.
And he's found by a cop, and like this is where he sort of really snapped, because at first he's like, oh, I shouldn't. He has like survivors going. He doesn't want to be. He doesn't know. Feels like it's his fault. All this sort of stuff. Which I mean, like you didn't have to do that. But
no, you didn't.
He goes back into the army, but he's like really real heavy drinker, and it's at one point they're essentially just sort of like they're very close to like kicking him out, but because he's a good soldier and stuff, they keep him around. But that's when he sort of like discovers the Bible, and he starts kind of being like, oh no, God will let me survive, that I can work killing all the mutants.
Yo.
Which is like, again, crazy interpretation there about.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
Just a tad. Bit spicy. And so we then find that the purifiers have pulled up, take themselves and Ileana out the car, and they know Kitty's in the boots. They just open fire at the boot, try and shred it. But obviously it's empty.
Typical.
Kitty walk through stuff. They know that. That's what I love. They got all these files.
She could probably make her lungs do the transparent thing and probably breathe the gas. Yeah. I don't know. You powers, man. Yeah.
And so she's running off. So then they kind of spread out to find him. And Kitty's running, and she comes across like all these gangs, fires going in bins, oil tanks and stuff.
I was gonna say they look so 80s, but that guy's literally. Oh, he's topless. I see it. I thought he was naked.
No.
Look at you need to I need to get closer to these parents.
And she's just like she's obviously crying for help and everything, and they're like, yeah, you want help, I'll give you help, like, but you gotta give us something. And she's like, oh yeah, no, sorry, maybe not. Wrong crowd.
Yeah. Whoa, I'm 14. They probably that filth. Yeah. It's this.
But I mean, Colossus will
filth.
though.
Don't go there, man. Don't go there.
So then they get Anne sort of like finds them all, and she's like, give me the girl or I'll kill you all. And they're like, no, there's like 7 of us and one of you're not, it's not happening. And she's like, yeah, you want to bet? And just kills them all.
You need to zoom out.
Like In the sort of kerfuffle, Kitty gets away, manages to escape. She manages to find a payphone to try and get hold of the mansion.
Dude, that boom, mate.
Oh, yeah, the typography, like the onomatopoeia.
Especially with the, like, just...
like the gradient and colour in it. And like
you're just getting shapes of the body, and then you just, so little telling
silhouette.
So much. Silhouette.
Absolutely beautiful. So then...
Hard story, but god damn, your eyes are eating away.
She's trying to get hold of the mansion, doesn't manage. Well, Kurt just picks up, and she just, like, literally gets, like, a sentence out to him. The place blows. She manages to phase in time, and she's still running. Hops on a train. Like, I love it. Like, she's late. She's, like, missing the train, but she, like, manages to just pull her away. She manages to, like, keep up with it and, like, phase into it. It's, again, fun. And there's, like, luckily there's a cop on the train. Well, I say luckily, he ain't gonna last long. There's a cop on the train, and he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll look after you. They
does not last long, does he?
No, literally, he's introduced 3 panels later, he's dead. Purifiers blast through the roof, take the cop out, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna kill you, kid, like, da-da-da. And then, again, Magneto, for the safe, comes in, lifts the train up, like, rips it open and everything. He's like, nah, like, kid's with me. The rest of the X-Men come in, take out all the rest of the other Purifiers, and they're worried. They're like, oh, we've got to save the cop. Like, I kind of love it because Magneto's like, nah, but
let me take the bullet out.
Kitty convinced him. He pulls the bullet out.
Surely that would make things worse, man.
You'd think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never been shot.
No, you know what?
Hopefully I won't find out.
Yeah, so, I mean, no, farmers in the UK, they know.
That is. So then we get more Charles dreams, and it's sort of like him and Strike having this back and forth, and Charles essentially...
Does he know?
Charles is broken. He's like,
oh, yeah, I see where we are. He is broken. Yeah.
And so he blasts Storm and Cyclops, and because you just sort of see it as well, like as the scene starts, Charles has like sort of a lot more stern look on his face, and as it kind of plays out, he becomes more dopey looking. Yeah. Like he sort of like kind of just mindlessly
more smiley.
Yeah, like he just like he doesn't have all this weight on him anymore. Like, and it's up, but it's obviously all mind control and like that he's been brainwashed kind of thing. Like he's like a blank slate. And so they're like, oh, awesome, thing works. Like, let's put it into practice. And then the X-Men have found out about one of the scientist guys that's helped Stryker build all of this stuff. So they track him down to find him, and it's a really cool scene actually because it's the first time Kitty's never faced her and someone else. She's like, I don't even know if this will work. Phases through the car, grabs the guy. Obviously, they just phased through the car. She's like, that was lucky. Nightcrawler's on your team. He could just bamp in the. He knows you can do it. Like, that was pretty risky. But they use Nightcrawler for intimidation tactics instead. The guy just folds and tells them everything they want to know. Exactly. Yeah, it's a really cool scene. Like, picks him up like
with his tail.
Yeah, Nightcrawler's saying he's like on the wall. Like his tail comes down, wraps around the guy's neck. Like pulls him up and really playing up. Yeah, really playing up like the demon.
Yeah, look at my sharp teeth, my God. I'm a mutant.
So then we find out Purifiers are killing all these mutants. You know, well they're like disposing of Cyclops and Storm's body. And then that's when the rest of the X-Men turn up, and you find there again. This is one of them times when they're like, yeah, Magneto's powerful. He can just do stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this is like we've got 4 pages. We can't tell them go to the hospital.
We need them to get quick now. It's essentially because what it is Wolverine's essentially like they need a defibrillator, they need a jolt, and Magneto's like and it's because like electromagnet. So everyone's like, well, lightning. Yeah. He's got lightning power. You shoot fucking electricity.
Yeah. I mean.
So that's essentially what he does. And it manages to revive them.
He falls lightning. Emperor has returned. But in a cool way. Not like
he looks like him. He's old enough.
Oh, I was literally there like, he's wearing the red cape. The red,
That's what I mean. He's not far off.
No. Same powers.
He
would be the emperor yeah.
So then they're all getting ready. Stryker's getting ready for his big talk.
The end of chapter 3, okay.
And Anne comes running in and she's like, we got a problem. Like, if know what the plan, he's like, don't worry, Anne. My word will persuade the people. They'll be on our side. It can't go wrong now. So then this is when he goes out and he gets sort of like his statement, gives his statement. And this is wild. It's like a concert. He's got all these lights on him, all these screens and stuff. It looks like there are thousands of people.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Like, it's insane. I love it. The president has guys there. Like, and there's two of my favourite characters in this whole thing. These two cops.
Oh, is it?
Like, because so one of them, what do you think, Jeff? The Rangers playing the Icelanders over the Garden City. I wish I was there. and they pop up again like throughout the thing, and I just love it. They're just two blue collar dudes that are just in this shit, and everyone's acting crazy, and they just make the right calls.
Yeah.
You know, they just take like the moral high ground, and they're like, nah, well, enough of this shit. Like,
I'm sad to see him again.
And so he's drumming up all his anti-mutant hate, getting the crowd going, and then they flick the machine on, and the X-Men are outside, and it starts messing up with them. So again, still didn't work. Just messing them up. And then there's a kid across the street, and he drops, and he starts bleeding from the ears and the nose and stuff. So obviously he's a mutant. And Nightcrawler like bamps him to the nearest hospital, and I love it. He puts the kid outside. This guy runs out, and he's like, "Hey, you're one of the X-Men. You attacked that kid." And Nightcrawler just like pure, just like logic. But he's like, "Obviously not. No, I didn't. Like, give this man some help."
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So
like, it's no games, no nothing.
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah. It's
the
like,
guy's like,
guys,
"You attacked that guy," and he's like, "No." Beautiful. She goes back, and they're all getting messed up, and Magneto's like, "Fine, going in there." So he goes in, rips the roof apart, puts it back together, and I kind of love it because the US like government guy, like the senator, is like aid is like, "We gotta get out of here," and the senator's like, "No, like it's cool." Magneto's like not trying to like hurt anyone; he's just making an entrance. You gotta let it play out.
Yeah.
See where this goes. And so Stryker obviously like had a whole thing set up for it, so he like blasts him like with a thing. And Magneto was flying into the crowd, and at this point Stryker's like drummed up enough hate in all these people. The masses just sort of like start trying to attack it. And this is where the Senator's finally like, "Yeah, alright, this guy's gone crazy. Like, we got to shut this down. Like, enough of this." And then all of a sudden, like, he starts bleeding, and he's just, I love it. Stryker's just throughout this whole thing, like, the crowds are going wild. Like, everyone's like, "What the hell's happening?" Like, it's just eruption into pandemonium. You just spin out Bible quotes.
Yeah.
Just still on stage, like, cool as
Yeah.
cucumber, just like spitting out Bible quotes, like. And again, so the two cops are just sort of like, "Yeah, well, get away from this guy. He hasn't done anything." Like, he's like, "This is meant to be like a church thing, not a circus."
Yeah.
And so the X-Men break in. They're trying to find Charles, and Run sort of manages to get away and runs up on stage, and it's like, "Oh, Stryker, like, they're here. They're gonna free Xavier." Like, the whole thing's gone to pot, and then she starts having a nosebleed, and Stryker just turns on her. Like, he's like, You're a demon. You're a witch. You're a witch." And so he.
But that's such ridiculous.
You know that happened.
100%.
100%. Yeah. That's how she got
She's
the
there like,
job.
"I licked your old man bones."
And she's like pleading. She's like, I does like my loyalty mean nothing to you? Like, da. And he's like, "Nah." Shoves her. She goes flying off the stage. TV cameras catch all of it. She just lands on her head / neck. It just dies. Just instantly dies. And
I did not realise the first time until you've just said that. I thought she was in a force field or like there was a tunnel of air. Bro, that's the camera panning
screens,
and zooming out and moving. Yeah, 100%. It's the camera going and capturing all of the motion. Madness.
Yeah, man. The art, there's nothing else you can say. The art is just phenomenal.
It really
it works so
really
well.
Is.
And so then again the crowd's like, "Yeah, let's get all these freaks." And this is when the cops, they pull their guns out and they're like, "Nah, you ain't getting Magneto." calm your asses down. Like, you're all acting crazy.
Those are the cops?
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Like,
guys.
I love it. The cops are just like, look, man, like, just take a walk. Like, you know, like, leave the poor man alone. He hasn't actually done anything. And so, the X-Men managed to free Charles, but it's really clever. So, what happens is...
I do like this thing.
Because Charles is sort of, like, reading all their minds and, like, can see all their thoughts and everything, they need to be clever about how they're gonna take him out. And so, they have Wolverine and Nightcrawler sort of attack him from behind while Cyclops rebounds his beam, like his optic blast, around the room.
Well, he gets to shoot him, doesn't he? It looks like he misses.
And so what happens is Wolverine goes in for the hit as Cyclops' blast like hits him.
Bro, it starts there. Yeah.
Goes through the page. Really cool. Again.
Just the panelography is what I call that. I don't know what the word is, but
the layout,
that's the word.
The composition.
Yeah, okay. Show me up.
And so they manage to free Charles, and they're like, I love it. They're just like, let's just get out of here. Like, and Cyclops like, no, like we've got to sort of make a stand. This ends now. So they all go out, and they basically just start kind of debating with Reverend Stryker on stage, and this is where like Claremont really sort of like sums up the message of the whole thing. Like, is this back and forth, and sort of this has my favorite image whole book. I find it's such a serious thing. It's like so much stuff's going on, but so Cyclops is making the point that all mutants are all humans as well. They're all the same, you know. Just mutants are just like there's just another branch, you know. And Stryker turns around and points at Nightcrawler and says, "Human, you dare call that thing human?" And the way Nightcrawler stood, he looks so hurt. Like like I don't know if it's because there's no tail or anything like that. But he's just got the look on his face like...
It's the shoulders.
I wouldn't get singled out like this if Beast was here. You know, if any of the other weird-looking ones were here, this wouldn't be happening. Like, damn it. Always me. And so Kitty snaps. This is when Reverend really is just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm a bad guy.
I love it. Kitty's like, he's fucking... What is it? More than human.
More than human. Like, he's like, I'd rather be friends with him than, like... We could be like in your group and be full of hate and all this sort of stuff. And so he pulls that gun, tries to shoot Kitty, but before he does, you see one of the cops shoots him. One of the two cops from earlier. I love it. The two cops are just like, fuck that guy. We all saw that, right? Yeah. Like, he was about to kill a 14-year-old girl. Like, and everyone's like, yeah, fair enough. I'm on your side here. Yeah. Like, no one reacts. Like, the whole thing just gets sort of dispersed pretty much.
Yeah, what an easy way to handle that case.
I just love it because as well, like, he does it and Stryker drops and we just zoom in on the cop's face, just like 1,000-mile stare. And he's like, yeah, I know. Yeah. Worth it. Yeah. Worth it. And so, and obviously all the other cops sort of back him on it. And so it all gets dispersed. And then we go back to the Xavier mansion. And Magneto's there, and they're kind of conversating about Charles's dream and like the difference between Magneto and Charles's ethics and how they do things. And Magneto essentially sort of breaks it down to Charles, and Charles starts being like, "I might come with you." You're kind of making sense, but Scott steps in and essentially espouses to Charles what Charles always tells him. He just throws it like the teacher has now become. The student has now become the teacher kind of thing, and so Charles ultimately rejects Magneto, and Magneto sort of puts it out to the rest of them, and they're like, "Nah, I'm good." And he's like, and so he leaves, and he's just like, "You'll regret it." Like, and so he just goes off. Charles is all happy because he's like, you know, like,
he's crying.
You're my kids. You did well. I'm proud of you. You know, like, and then Storm and Cyclops have a little moment. It's really nice. Like, they just sort of go out and thing, and Storm just sort of tells him like how proud she is of him, and that, like, you know, everything comes from love. Like, and if we could just spread that around the world, like, might be a little bit of a better place.
Yeah, too right.
And yeah, that's the ending of it.
Yeah,
like, which I think is great, such a great little poignant ending. Like, and again, it's what I love about a lot of Claremont stuff is no matter how dark it gets, how heavy it gets, there's always just a bit of hope.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be a better future.
I like how
keep moving forward.
The first page, the first 2-3 pages completely juxtaposed the last 3.
Like, it's just this
grim,
horrific scene, and then
like,
at the end,
horrible
it's just like this
atmosphere,
little family unit,
especially with the colorist, and then
and it's like it's just two friends coming together
in their house. No way. I don't even. Is that Jubilee? Not Jubilee.
Yeah, that's
is that key? Just like fair enough. So juxtaposed. It's a good story, man.
Yeah. It just
I don't even know what else. Like, yeah, it's just it's very good. I can't get over the art.
A quintessential X-Men story.
Definitely.
It for me it just perfectly encapsulates what they're all about.
I wouldn't give this to I wouldn't be like, oh, you've never read X-Men? Here, read it.
But I almost would.
I feel
it's like a mission statement.
I wouldn't for 2 reasons. One, because of the subject matter. I know it's the X-Men, like this is what they are, but it's like really on the nose. Like we all know this is what the X-Men is. The second reason is if you then go and read the monthlies. Yeah. Like you say, 82, if you're like, oh, I like the 82 stuff, I'll go check what's going on. You're in space.
But
I understand that. But jumping onto
it all feels
and then
same.
he with his flowery, like, I'll give you it, he's not as flowery at all. But then again, he's only got, I think it said 65 pages?
Yeah, about that. Which, yeah, again, down to the whole sort of like compression, decompression thing. This now would be 12 issues. It would be so watered down. Like, I don't think it would hit.
Yeah, because what is it? 6 chapters? It would be,
those
would be split across 2 issues.
Just so much story in it.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
I swear the artwork, no, it doesn't change. I just mean the colouring, but it's the colour. Like, how he uses the red in the scene where Xavier is experiencing his fears. Yeah. Do rate that. And, like, you can see where the X2 stuff came from.
Oh,
and how they were like, oh, we can improve on this and bring this into our thing.
It's even because, I mean, I haven't seen X to time, but he has a son, doesn't he?
Yeah, who?
Stryker.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
And he's like a psychic mutant
or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's been repressed. No, that's his power. No, that's the other one.
Or do they, like, give him powers or something?
I get it confused with Last Stand because Last Stand's all about the mutant. How it causes everyone's powers to.
And then they give him the cure and he's
but
bulking.
In X2, they have the drippy drip. On
he
the
looks
neck.
like a little crackhead in the wheelchair. And he's like bugging. He's freaking out.
And 2, they have the drippy drip on the neck that controls you. Which is how he finds out information from Magneto. Yeah, but I think he's alive, but I don't know what.
Because I know he's part of the whole Charles machine thing. They have him in there, like he's like using his mind powers on Charles.
Oh
or something
he's
like
a psychic guy.
And that's what I mean. So it's the whole thing of, I mean,
again, just like going, well,
it's one of them.
How did this military guy get in this high position?
He's willing to experiment on a kid and shit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I find interesting, like difference between the film and the book. The book is my son's a monster, so I'm gonna kill him. Whereas the film's a lot more, my son's like useless to make him into.
Yeah, fair.
You know, and like what he's willing to like do to the poor kid and stuff like that. I mean, either's horrific. Not an ideal situation.
No, not. And the movie one's got the stuff he did to Wolverine added on. That's dark. This guy's just hella religious. Like, he's probably preached some wrong things over them and stuff. But yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you don't have the time to read that. I read something that the guy who there was another guy who was meant to illustrate this book.
So
is it like
originally this was set up. It was gonna be the death of Magneto.
Yeah,
that was the original story, and they got Neil Adams to draw it. And I know there was some kind of thing happened or a series of events happened, and for whatever reason, the story changed. Like, Adams was no longer on the book, but he did draw.
But it's because it's money, is why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Didn't want to.
But I mean, granted, that's a big thing. Like,
but especially Neil Adams, you get paid for your work, man. Royalties, please. I owe that.
Neil Adams was a big advocate for that. He was one of the earliest advocates for that. like, and really, like, up until he died, like, fought for everyone, you know? Like, it's...
Good man.
Yeah, which, yeah, again, important. If it's one of them, if he doesn't feel like he's getting what he's worth, why would he do it?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, yeah.
Like, it's a thing that's gonna happen recent. Jim Lee is now charging $20,000 for a commission.
Damn.
Yeah, and I think before he changes prices, but like that's the thing. So the reason he's done it.
Yeah, what is that?
It's because you obviously have people. It's the same with all the CGC stuff, and slabs and grading and all that bollocks. It's people getting him to commission work for them, and then being able to resell it $20,000. But like Jim Lee don't get none of that cut.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it. If
Right.
that's what the market says,
the market's only gonna react.
But you got to understand it from like Jim Lee's point. Like, if that's
smart,
what the market is saying my value is,
was he gonna up
then
it?
I'm gonna charge that
because someone's gonna buy it for 20 grand, resell it for 40. Then it's a perpetual. But then I don't know.
But then if that does happen, that means it's kind of a good thing. It's kind of a good thing because it's an increase for everyone.
It increases his. Everyone thinks this guy's
will be able to do that.
It puts him more out of the comic book and into.
Well, he's been the first to
the gallery.
Try it.
Yeah.
You know,
into the collectors.
Like he's taken the shot. He's like, fuck it.
I mean, fair play.
I'm like, good on him.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Neil Adams wouldn't have done that.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day as well, like, it's one of them things for Jim Lee. Like, he doesn't draw a lot anymore. You know?
Oh, I did. I don't blame him.
Like, he doesn't need to. He's like one of the top people in DC. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't. So, like, for him to do a commission or something like that, it's like time. It's his time. It's
probably negative money, but yeah.
Precisely. But then there are plenty of stories of him like doing sketches and stuff with people, and like he's not like he will go out of his way to make it happen. You know?
Yeah.
So
I get a community though.
He's not
like
being a piece of shit about it.
Yeah.
Like,
being a community man. Yeah. What did you think about the book then? Review.
Man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love this book.
You read it again?
Definitely. I think this is like one of those things like you can almost come back to any time. Like. You know, like every now and again, you just want a quick, dirty X-Men story.
To be fair, it was quick.
Like
I did long it out.
Very. Yeah, I kind of stretched it out as well. Let myself kind of soak it out.
Ages ago.
But I mean, especially when you look at a lot of like, X-Men. What should you read? Read this 12-issue up. Read this.
Yeah, I will give it
read
that
this
credit.
Complicated bullshit, and it's like, no, it is just one done in one.
Read this with these 3 side characters following their monthlies, and then you'll have to check the event out and then go back to.
What's that? You want to get the most out of Krakoa? Wow, you're reading 25 books.
Yeah. Yay!
But it's like. I'm not complaining about it. Like a lot of Krakoa is really good.
I get that's what comics are now, and that's what it feels that ecosystem. But I do miss I do like 65 pages. Bam, great story.
Easy day.
Yeah, I could read that in half an hour.
That's what I mean. Just
a day.
Sit out in the sun one afternoon.
Yeah.
Like done.
Yeah, go to the beach, man. Sit in the forest. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely. Yeah, nice. Sit in a cafe. Look around.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Just read the damn book, people.
I would say it's good. I'd read it again, but god damn, it's hard to. I tried the other day, but just opening up on that, those first 3 issues, and then I'm like, I know what's coming.
Oh yeah, it can be a challenge.
Yeah,
that is for definite. Viewer discretion.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
But I think it's definitely worth it.
Goodreads gave it a 4 point. Well, I say Goodreads gave it. Goodreads is just a bunch of people reviewing it and averaging the review. Gave it a 4.2, and that was out of 632 reviews. Pretty good. Out of 5.
Good.
Like,
come on, man.
Claremont thinks it's the best thing he ever did. No, it's not. He's proud of it. It's one of the proudest things.
Well,
so it shows in the book.
Like one of the things you can just point to and be like,
if it's got that rating and the guy says that, and it has a Lynchian, an M-bomb drop, and all this other stuff, but it also is like a quintessential X-Men book, and it describes them perfectly, and it's a great book, then there's a reason why you need to read it.
It just works on so many levels.
It juggles and balances those juggling. It has a juggling act and balances that juggling act very well. A literally dream team, Chris Claremont and Brent Anderson, because just
Oh,
Claremont has those like atmospheres written into his works and the moods and vibes, and then this guy
'cause that's the
perfectly
thing,
dictating that
Claremont,
or adding that to it by himself.
Claremont is all about.
Yeah.
Like, if he could just have an X-Men issue where they don't put the costumes on and they just sit and talk about, like, how they'll feel, he would.
Fair enough.
Like, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what another great thing about this is, even though you get so much in, like, such a short space, everyone's personality shines. No one's left in the dust.
I don't know, Cyclops doesn't. Yeah, I don't think he speaks.
No, because he has his whole motivational speech at the end and
True.
to Charles, and he's the one that
True.
argues the point against Stryker and stuff like that. Like, he kind of takes up like a more sort of stoic kind of like leadership role, like which is his like general character.
Whose story would you say that was, apart from William Stryker's? Because that was his downfall. That was like we opened on him basically, and we ended on him for the people's dance on.
I mean, Kitty obviously has a lot of play, but that's because like Kitty.
I would say as a key story.
At this time, it's what Jubilee is about. They're the ride along.
She's the plot device.
They're the audience riding along.
Because like we're not always riding along with her, but she causes the plot
a lot of things to happen.
Like move forward and put the balls.
That's what I mean. It's I don't think one of them pulls out on top of any of them. It is an X-Man.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, because it does have.
Like, even Charles has like a big role to play in it.
And it is everyone coming together.
It's about
trying
coming
to save
together.
the day and all being there for each other, and then that one person saying this one thing, and everybody reinforcing that and going, yeah, that is what we're all about. Like in love. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, good book, man. What are we gonna do? Love.
Big question.
Yeah, I don't.
We'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to say anything else?
Nah.
No?
Nah,
Thank you very much, everybody. That was that issue. We've been Comics Talks. I've been Andy, and he's been Will. Thank you for listening.